Welcome back to another episode of the Level Up Podcast. My name is Tyler Miller. I am a team leader of the Tyler Miller team here in Blaine. And I started this podcast because, I just feel like the bar in the real estate industry is a little low. And I know a lot of awesome agents that I've just developed relationships with over the years and wanted to try to give back to the community because I know, when I was starting out or early on, it would be nice to have some people to learn from. And so that's why I started this show. And today I'm joined by an awesome group of people, two people. It's actually my first tandem here on the Level Up Podcast, so excited about that. But today I'm joined by the Accelerated team at Coldwell Banker, and they're made up of 3 agents currently, or 4?
Well, technically it's 4. 4 with one coming on.
4 with one coming on.
4 with one pretty solid up and comer.
Yeah.
Start in January.
Is that the one I met?
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
But the 2 joining us today are the team leaders, essentially. We have Damian Troupe, and we have David Brandner.
All right.
And first off, thanks for coming, guys. Really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Thanks for the invite, Tyler.
Absolutely. So for those of you who have never met these guys, first off, what the hell are you doing? These guys are pretty awesome. They've been around the block a few times. But why don't you guys give the listeners just a little background on your team really quick, and then we'll get into kind of how you guys both just got into real estate.
All right, so Damien and I left a former brokerage about 2 years ago. Coldwell Bank was pretty aggressive in their recruitment of us. Grateful for that recruitment, like the brand. And, we're guys in our mid to late 40s and sometimes asking questions of how big of a team do you want to grow, or how, what is your end goal? Mm-hmm. Through the past 2 years, we've had quite a bit of success in terms of number of transactions, volume. Kept the team small, mm-hmm. Trying to build our client base so we have more value to give to future team members, meaning I think lead gen is
right.
critical in why people join a team.
Right.
Is you want your team leaders to be able to provide leads. We're slowly getting to that place. Slow growth is okay, mm-hmm. But that's kind of been our philosophy. And, really I think where we're phenomenal, Damien, is just how collaborative Damien and I are, how big of team relationship we have. Mm-hmm. We share in each other's successes financially, mm-hmm. and that keeps us vested in each other's interest.
Yeah.
And very selfless, and just philosophically, I think it's critical if you're going to be on a team as a team leader and have a partner that alignment and relationship is gold.
Yeah.
So partnerships can be challenging sometimes, but Damien, you've been awesome. And
oh yeah, you've been great. I mean, I think we were at a previous brokerage before, and we were both individual agents there. Mm-hmm. Then we entered the transfer portal, what I like to call it.
Yep.
And so
the sports innuendos are coming out already.
Oh, it's fantastic. And I think Coldwell Banker has been great because what we really wanted to do is me and him had a conversation. We just want to go to another brokerage individually. Want to go to a brokerage and start a team. And Coldwell Banker bought into that, and have helped us become very successful there. Yeah. And they've been very supportive, and so it's worked out great.
Yeah.
I mean, when you put a team together in the last 2 to 3 years, and we're going through one of the tougher real estate, years, and our numbers keep getting better every year. I mean, that just shows that we're going in the right direction, and I think it's who you work with. I mean, I got a great relationship with David. We make things happen.
Yep.
There's a lot of trust there. And so I think the thing is that we watch each other's back, and I think that we just want to, we have the same goals, and it's very easy. It's a very easy thing.
Yeah.
And I think the good thing about it is me and him we really don't like anyone telling us what to do.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a good fit for us because we're left alone. No one tells us what to do. We can make our own decisions, and it's from that point of view, it's great.
Well, and would you guys consider, are one of you the team leader, or you both kind of share in the duties of that job?
I handle the things he doesn't want to handle, and he handles the things I don't want to handle.
Yeah, I can see. I can definitely see. There's you guys even each other out or balance each other out very well. I can definitely tell that. And so that's really cool because it's rare. It's rare to have that in real estate. Real estate's full of egos, right? Most people, they don't want to be told what to do. So why would I create a team with a partner? I'd rather just tell my partner what to do all the time because I don't want to be told what to do. But you guys seem to have that kind of figured out, which is awesome.
I think we both played sports, growing up, and were on teams, and maybe a little bit of just that experience, I think, has helped us, be great teammates to each other. And boy, I mean, it's gold. I mean, I am so grateful to have a business partner like Damien who, hardworking, accountable, selfless, trustworthy, and fun. It's an important part of the business too.
Basically every time I talk to him, I'm smiling. Yeah, he's a fun guy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think you got to have fun with what you're doing, right? And
you're wearing the king hat.
Oh yeah, I was, the thing is I hate wearing these things. When my hair, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
It's like, and then my hair gets all in it.
Yeah.
So I got to wear a hat when I put the headphones.
No, I hear you.
It just.
I'm gonna have a big line in my hair.
Exactly.
The rest of the day.
I just wasn't feeling that today, so I said, let's just wear the king hat.
I like the king hat. I was actually talking about getting hats like that for our team because we talk about like lion mode and like it's a whole thing, a whole mantra on our team. So like I actually just gave them. We had a Christmas party recently, and I just gave them ornaments, and it has our logo on one side, and on the other side a lion. It's just
nice.
That's our mascot, the lion.
Yeah.
That's what we created the mascot, named Trooper. Of course, you know what I mean? David Trooper is what we call him.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, our mascot and everything's a lion.
I love
King
it.
in the jungle. You know what I mean? You got to attack.
It's lion mode, man. They're
care what the sheep say.
Yeah, no,
you can't.
no.
In this industry, you can't.
No, there's a really good. I'll have to send it to you. You've probably seen it. There's a really good like motivational video on YouTube. It's like lion mentality, and it's like sports themed. So I know you'd like it, but it's like Ray Lewis and like a whole bunch of people talking about like the difference between like an elephant and a lion. An elephant, they run. Lions, they see an elephant, they think lunch. Like, but the lion's not the biggest, but that's their mentality is what makes them the king. Got
it. Yeah. Got some National Geographic going.
Right.
On.
Yeah, dude. It's a great video. You'll watch that video and you'll want to run through a wall. It's
absolutely
so good.
Good.
But okay, so Coldwell Banker, the accelerated team. You guys have been an official team now for 3 years.
Yeah, just about.
Okay.
Yeah, over two. Yeah, over two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going on 3. So I'll say 3. Yeah. Going on 3. Yeah.
I mean, very tough time in general just to be in real estate the last couple of years. That's for sure. But you guys are thriving and it's going great. Your market, like where do you typically sell most of your homes? Is it all over? Is it a certain area?
I mean, we're pretty heavy in St. Louis Park, Minneapolis. But you know how it is, Tyler. I mean, in this day and age, you go where the business is to an extent,
right.
And data is at our fingertips to understand, valuation a little bit easier now than maybe it was before. But there's definitely some benefit of, really doing a lot of business within a specific market to really drill down into what you can list a house for.
Right.
But we've done a lot in St. Louis Park and Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. I mean, I grew up in Northeast Minneapolis, Columbia Heights area. It would be nice if Tyler Miller left Blaine. I live in Blaine. So I can maybe get some more clientele in Blaine.
We are with the king of Blaine here.
Yeah, but,
well, hey, you got the king hat on, so you just tell people like, hey, I was on Tyler's podcast. Like,
exactly.
We're basically the same.
You can throw me a dig here or there, Blaine.
Yeah.
But no, I would say it's kind of all over. I mean, we're gonna go where there's a need, and if that means that we do have clients that we've sold a house in Minneapolis and they want to see something in Brandner to buy a lake cabin. Guess what? We're gonna go and we're gonna do.
We're kind of the same way. Some people are really niched down. I think we all have our spots, right? But it's good. I think it's a good business strategy just to go where the people need you. You're right.
Absolutely, and I think the thing is it's in some ways it's kind of fun doing that as well. You get material whenever you go on social media when you do some of that stuff and just building those relationships with your clients.
Yep. Okay, cool. Well, really quick because I know you're from Blaine. Obviously, I know a little bit about you, but for the people that are listening, so that was a little bit about your team. Tell us just about yourselves. So, David, really quick.
Real quick.
To me, it sounds like you have a little bit of an accent.
Yeah, I spent 13 years in Dallas, Texas, right when I finished.
There's some little. I mean, it's a great accent, whatever it is.
Thanks, man.
You sound intelligent.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
First time I've been accused of that.
You sound smarter than me.
No,
and for sure smarter than Damien. No.
Yeah, he was a he was a finalist for Shark Tank.
Really?
Oh yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I got to hear this story.
This is really a great thing to think about. Think about NFL playoffs or March Madness, right? Would you rather just get bounced in the first round, or get to the Final Four, or even the final?
Yeah.
And losing the Super Bowl or losing the national championship. would just rather have gotten bounced in the first round. So long story, but I created a dating app, and pretty wild. But this was back in 2018, 19, and went to a Shark Tank audition. And, they tell you when you're there, there's like 1,000 people. They said, look, 40,000 people, you're applied to get on Shark Tank. And, we can't message each of you after the audition and say thanks, but no thanks. It works like you'll hear from us if we're interested. If you don't, we're not.
Yeah.
But understand it doesn't mean your business model isn't good.
Yeah.
So you get 1 minute with a casting director, and there's 5 of them going on simultaneously in a small room. And, I had an app, and it was working out in the parking lot, and give my 1 minute pitch to the casting director. And I was like, do you want to see the app? She's like, yeah, sure. And like, she's interested. I'm like, great. Pull the app up, thing won't load in the room. And I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
Leave, fly back home, and, I'm just dejected.
Yeah.
That the thing she was interested, didn't load in the room that we're in. So anyway, they say you'll know in 14 days.
Yeah.
And it's like day 10, 11, 12. I've heard nothing. And I'm sitting in Chipotle eating a burrito and open my email. And I'm like, Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You've moved on to the person's video. So anyway, long story short, you then go into this video round. And from that point forward, you can't say anything about your status to anybody.
Yeah.
And did that 10-minute video, 40-page documentation. And this year, down to the final 300.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, tell us about the sales of your app. And it had been on the App Store for 2 weeks at this point in time. And it was a freemium model, free to download, pay for features.
Yep.
But I was honest about, where we were at with the downloads. But it was all built organically. And so they're like, sorry, not enough sales. And, they take 175. It was down from 40,000 to the final 300.
Yeah.
And I was so close. Wow. And then so it was a fun experience, but
that's pretty amazing, man.
Do you still have the voicemail of the rejection? He
saved
played it for me one
it
time.
was not the rejection.
Or
it was the follow-up.
Oh, the follow-up. Yeah, I
wanting more to know about
Yeah.
myself, just to prove. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's not.
Because
So is the dating app still on the?
I eventually took it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the concept of the dating app?
What was very
what was
simple rating system, like an Uber rating.
Oh, yeah.
3 things: profile authenticity, your communication, and your follow-up. So kind of try to solve for, catfishing, fake profiles, sexual harassment, lewd communication, and then follow-up was kind of solve for ghosting.
Does anything like that exist now?
No, there hadn't, and the app also had the ability kind of to customize, like if the woman wanted the guy to send the first message, she could tell him to do that. It wasn't like the Bumble experience where the woman is always forced. So it was a customizable user experience. I mean, I think the concept was really, really good, but trying to raise money from venture capital was just the feeling was that the dating space had been won by Tinder and Bumble.
Right.
And, I learned how difficult it is to raise venture capital, and oftentimes, maybe a good idea, isn't enough. And it's just like in real estate. I mean, a marketing budget, client acquisition, that's the trick, is how do you acquire clients, maybe starting out, especially with very limited marketing dollars, maybe none.
Yeah.
So that in any sales, I think profession is always an issue.
Yeah. Well, that's a wild story, man.
Sorry, that's kind of long-winded. But
no, it's okay. So they take 100 and how many people?
175, and they put 100, I think 100 on per season.
Wow.
Like they'll shoot 175.
And you were really close to that.
Yeah, I was down to the final 300 from
I love that
40,000.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was I mentioned I lived in Dallas when I finished college, and the gym I played basketball at was the same one Mark Cuban went to, and it was at the gym the day he sold his company to Yahoo and became a billionaire. And so we played basketball together for 2-3 years at the same gym. I mean, first name basis, he would have.
Oh, you played like with him?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he would have completely recognized me and known, my name, because it's just one of the guys you're playing baskakball pickup 3 days a week. So, but you can't reach out to a shark directly. It's part of the deal.
Yeah.
So it just would have been a pretty cool experience to get on. He'd been like,
He would have got on, and there's no accelerated team then.
No, that's true.
So, I mean, it's actually a blessing in disguise.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good story, but blessing in disguise.
That's a fantastic story.
Yeah.
Well,
you get to work with me instead of Mark Cuban.
Hey, you know what?
I mean, that's a win for you.
That's a huge win.
Big win. Big win.
Huge step up.
I feel that sincerely.
Yeah, exactly.
I do.
So did you grow up in Dallas, or did you?
No. I grew up just in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Went to school at Marquette. business marketing degree, and first job took me to Dallas to work with a sports marketing company.
Nice.
And spent 13 years there. Maybe got a little bit of the accent.
Yep.
Got a little soft. Winters still haven't adjusted back. It's been 11 years.
Yep.
That's enough, about me. But I'm kind of sales entrepreneurship background.
Okay.
Before getting into real estate.
Awesome. What about you?
I'm from Minnesota, but I'm born and raised in Northeast Minneapolis, so I'm a city kid.
Yeah.
And so I take a lot of pride in that, growing up in Northeast Minneapolis. It's funny because anytime I travel somewhere, someone asks where I'm from, I'm always like Northeast Minneapolis. My wife is like, well, why do you say that?
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to know.
What-
She's from Texas, so
Yeah.
it's like she doesn't get it, right? So I went to high school at St. Anthony. My college was dictated by basketball. I was on a full scholarship all the way through. I played 2 years at a school up in North Dakota called North Dakota School of Science, and then I played my final 2 years at Cumberland in Kentucky, Division I NAI school. And so it was a great experience. Beautiful school, beautiful campus. And then once I got done with that, I moved back to Minneapolis and then just started my career. I was on, more in the commercial retail side of things for the last, 20 years before I came over and just did the residential retail.
Yeah.
Residential real estate. So, yeah.
Damien was first team All-State Minnesota in high school. I mean,
Really?
I think that's pretty impressive, actually.
1995. I was up for Mr. Basketball, too.
Were you really?
Oh, yeah.
What position did you play?
I was guard.
Guard.
Yeah, I averaged just under 30 points a game.
Damn.
Yeah.
And he still goes and kills it at the state fair.
I do.
Walks out the teddy bear
That's my
for his
big
daughter.
thing. That's my big thing.
You can make it in the frickin' those games. They're so rigged. I can't
Tyler,
believe.
obviously you're not checking my Instagram.
No, yeah, I'm not
Obviously,
following as close
you're
as I
not
should.
following close as you should have. It's on there every year.
Have you posted some highlights, like from high school?
I
on
posted
your Instagram?
newspaper clippings.
There's
I
a lot of
gotta-
Throwback Thursday
throws-
footage.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Damien, also did a little modeling for Abercrombie.
Oh,
And do
I
we
wanted
say
to get to
Fitch
this.
or Finch?
Fitch.
It's Fitch.
Fitch.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Abercrombie
so you had
and Fitch.
you had athlete, you had good looks, and
know.
when he was on the road in college basketball, he told me a story, and it was great. And he put together a little Instagram reel, like with all the hazing nicknames that the opposing team's fans would like shout at him.
Oh, yeah?
down on the court. Like, come on, roll through some of them, and we're way off
Oh,
tangent.
it's great. I mean, the thing is like they used to call me Sleepers. Remember the movie Sleepers?
Yeah.
Backstreet. I was called New
Backstreet.
Kids on the Block. I was called Marky Mark. Troupe.
That's a good one, Troupe.
Yeah, Troupe. I was called that. I was called Snoop.
love it.
That was a great one too. What was the other one I was called? ST3. Did you ever see the movie Sinbad when he's like the house guest?
No,
You gotta see it. You gotta see it. There's a character in ST3.
ST3.
Yeah.
Dude, I like Backstreet. That's probably the best.
So I mean, but
or
the
New
fun-
Kids was pretty good. For
The
New Kids
funny
a
thing
lot,
is,
but-
there's like some people get like they get mad about it. Like when I see people, we used to get on the bus after the games or on the plane, and we laugh. We
for
laugh
sure.
at what they called us.
Yeah.
I mean, and thank God they didn't have. This was before there was the.
Yeah.
Internet where, I mean, there was still the internet, but they couldn't do as much research. There's no Facebook.
Right.
I can only imagine how it had been.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any really cool stories like that, but I do remember playing high school football and going to Osseo. For some reason, they were like the most hostile crowd we've ever played against. But
What
that
high
just-
school did you go to, Tyler?
I went to Champlin Park.
Okay, all right.
But like that just fired me up, dude. When they were just like
It's great.
yelling whatever at us and like I don't know why people get mad. I'm just like it just gets me going. I just look at it as well. That's part of playing here. You know what I mean? Like it's a hostile crowd. It's fun.
I wasn't the best sport either. I mean, I would score and run by the bench and tell everybody on there, you guys all suck. You know what I mean? Or some kid would say something to me. I'd be like, you're not even on the scouting report. I mean, so I wasn't the greatest sportsmanship. So a lot of the things that were thrown at me, I probably deserved. But it
That's
was
actually a
fun.
really good comeback, though. You're not even on the
That's
scouting
gotta-
report.
yeah,
That's
you
that's
can't
great.
guard me, right? You know who you are.
Well, so we got former model, top basketball player, almost a Shark Tank like superstar over here. I mean, geez, I didn't really realize I was in the presence of greatness on both your ends. So,
But Tyler, I mean, we don't have a podcast. All right,
that's true. They don't,
and we
have
don't
the
do as
level
much
of
volume
podcast.
as you do either.
No.
Eh, well,
And so
that's-
let's get real
That's
about it.
okay.
because-
He's top 10. He's top 10 in the state. You know
Top
that?
10?
Oh, yeah, top 10 team in the state. Yeah.
Yeah, and you moved over to EXP. not too
Moved
long
over to
ago, right?
EXP a little over 2 years ago now.
Were you at?
I was at Edina Realty
Okay.
before that.
Yeah.
I grew up. My dad has been in Edina Realty since I was born. So it was a great time when I was there, and now we're doing some different things here, and it's been fun.
How have you grown your team? I mean, how many are on your team?
So-
And kind of walk me through
Yeah.
years of the team, kind of.
So when I mean, obviously you start your team, you bring in one. So it started out small, organic, kind of like you guys. Like I have too many leads. I can't get to these. I need somebody, right? So added in one team member then, and slowly just organically built it by like, hey, we have a little bit too much business. I need help, right? And then it got to the point where
Tough problem to have.
right, yeah.
Congrats.
It was weird at the time. Like, I'm like, I feel like I'm just giving business away, but like I've always valued that family time and just balance as much as you can. I think the perfect balance is elusive in real estate. It's not actually real, but
Your sign says it all.
yeah, honestly,
A person's up late working 100 hours for themselves to avoid working 40 hours for someone else.
yeah. Yeah, because that gives you the balance. It doesn't seem like it, but it does eventually, right?
Yeah.
And so, anyways, when we were at Edina Realty, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just like, I just need people. And so we had a really good thing going. I had an agent on my team. Her name was Alex Murray, or is Alex Murray, and got her to the point where she was selling 70 houses in 1 year on my team. Like, so between her and I, we were crushing it, And then when we decided to make the move to EXP, I had 6 team members, or 6 agents, and 2 of them stayed back. Alex and then Emily Eck stayed at Edina Realty, so I came here with just 4 agents. So now I think as of today, we're at like 15. We just brought in 3 last week.
Right. And how long have you, I guess,
Been running a team?
yeah, correct.
About 8 years, 7-8 years.
Right. So 8 years, 14.
Yeah.
I think sometimes there's I don't know, at least in my entrepreneurial space, you want to grow so fast sometimes.
I know,
You're really
yeah.
hungry, grow fast. But I learned a pretty valuable lesson in some business that I started. Ridiculous, but I started some frozen yogurt stores in Minneapolis.
You've done a lot.
Honestly, yeah.
I like it.
2010, 11. And first year was going great, and it was just like a real estate grab, let me open more and more and more. And younger, more aggressive, hungry, and grew it too quickly, lost my ass at the end of the day. But from that experience, for me, I think it's maybe why now with what we're doing, at least from my perspective, I'm not as driven to like just grow fast.
Right.
But I kind of think like what you've done where, the big word they use now is it's intentional. You need to take quality people. It's kind of a slower build, but it's really good quality.
Right. It has been really good quality. I've had some amazing agents on my team, and it's been a lot of fun. I think why recently we've maybe added more is we finally got to the point where we're ready for that. You know what I mean? Like if I had 10 people walk up to our office today and want to join the team, like we could add them, and it doesn't take any extra time off of my plate. Like but it took a long time to get there. Where before it would be like so labor intensive for me to bring in an agent that I just wasn't that excited about bringing in that many people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, so we're going off topic a little bit. But yeah, so ever since coming over to EXP, I've partnered with some people that have really helped me get to the point where it's more scalable, I guess. But it's still a challenge, as you all know. But anyways, now the reason that I had you guys on is, I ask every guest that I have on this podcast is, hey, what's like the number one thing that you guys think you do better than most, or better than everyone in real estate? And I asked better than most, and you guys said problem solving. So maybe like creative ways to get deals done. And then it sounds like from David talking a little bit before we got on here, some investment mindset stuff as well, some passive income stuff. So before we just bury that lead, I want to get into that because I'm hoping there's some people that are listening that can maybe get just a couple good takeaways. If you guys can think back to kind of when you first started getting some success, like, and give some people some tips of what they should maybe consider when trying to put together some creative ways to put deals together.
I would say the most important thing, if you want to become a good problem solver, I mean, in my opinion, this industry, I do more figuring out problems or solutions than I do selling.
Absolutely.
I mean, 100%. And I think the thing is, the best way to do that is you have to network, and you have to be. It's okay to be new. Like, you have to humble yourself. It's okay to ask questions. And I think the thing is that people are afraid to do that. And you can't be afraid to do that. You got to demonstrate courage and step out of your comfort zone. Go to networking events. You know, it's okay to ask the other agent on the other side, "Hey, listen, I got a question about this. Can you help walk me through this?"
Yeah, totally.
Because I think in this industry, what I see is that everyone can win and everyone wants to win, and it's helping everybody out. But I think the worst thing you can say to your client or a potential client is, "There's just nothing we can do for you."
Right.
You have to find, you know, and you've done this longer than we have. It's like you get thrown a curveball every day. I mean, I can't even. Some of the stories I have are just, people wouldn't believe me.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. We need to make a movie about some of this stuff. You know, transients in house and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, is that you're going to come across solutions, and it's like, how, you know, someone that has a good down payment but doesn't have great credit scores because of something may happen. Get them in a contract for deed situation. Who can handle that?
Right.
Get somebody in a situation where someone may have just passed away. Their house, the house was a hoarding situation. They don't want to go through all that. Get them in a situation where we can solve that problem for them.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I always think the thing is the worst thing you can tell your client is you're on credit repair.
I know.
And then you stay with them and you nurture them, and then when they're ready to go, you get a great lender with them, and then all of a sudden you capitalize.
And why do you guys think that that's so common? Like, because, you know, I personally feel like the reason that people like go into their clients and say those things is there a couple things. One, like you said, I think it's hard for people to admit when they need help. Like, in this industry is just so ego driven, and you know, you got to look the part and whatever, fake it till you make it, that type of thing, right? So,
Case in point.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
wearing a king hat. I mean,
of selling sunset.
Yeah. But I also think it's like too much loyalty sometimes to your loan officer partners, let's say, or whatever. Like, I think sometimes the struggle is maybe you get a referral from a lender, right? And then the lender can't get them approved, and you're like, shit, okay. Well, I know that there's other ways that we could do this, but so it's a complicated industry where, depending on where your leads are coming from, it's hard to like move them around to a bunch of people. But I don't know, like, that's just my take on it. I feel like there's just the loyalty factor sometimes to your few lenders that you're familiar with. So like, hey, if they can't do it, nobody can type of deal, which we all know is not true. But what do you guys think? Like, why is that such an issue?
I mean, I think for us, it's not.
For you
we'll
guys,
we'll just tell it the way it is. I mean,
Yeah.
if my lender sends somebody and they're like, we can't get them pre-approved, but I can get contract for deed on them, I'm like, well, listen, I got them contract for deed. You're going to be able to nurture them when that contract for deed comes up and they need to, you know, get refied. You're their person.
Yeah.
Right. And so I don't know what your take is on it, but I mean, for us, it's, I don't know. I mean, I think it's fear of rejection, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Have you guys always had that mindset though, or did that kind of come after a while in this industry?
I've really not. I'll be perfectly honest and go a little off subject. There is nothing worse than being rejected when you're getting offered a scholarship in basketball.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing. So there's nothing that any client could ever say to me that's worse than that when you're 18, 19 years old and I'll give you an SMU. SMU is recruiting me. Hey, Damien, we love you. We want to offer you a scholarship, but guess what? We like 2 high school kids more. And, you know, if you decide to take something else, great. But we're not going to make a decision on you until 2 other people. And then you get, you know, a number of schools that do that. That's rejection. We want you, but we don't want you.
Yeah.
We want you, but you're not our number one.
We want you,
guy.
but just not enough.
You're just not what we're really looking for. But I think the thing is rejection. I mean, it's just part of the industry.
Right.
You know, and it's like, we just move to our next yes. It just brings us closer to our next client that's going to be our next yes.
Yep.
That's the way I look at it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have really a whole lot to say on that, to be honest.
I mean, he said it very well. But I think so.
I would just say this, though. I mean, I think, you know, we are both really hardworking.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think real estate maybe gets glamorized, you know, what you see on TV, but anybody starting out, like, you really need to decide, is it something you can be all in on? Are you willing to maybe supplement your income with, I mean, honestly, you have to do DoorDash or Uber, you know, to create a little bit of supplemental income. It takes a little bit of time, but, you know, there's a lot of people in real estate that get into it based on the glamour element, what they see on social media, what they see on TV. And then you get into it and find out it doesn't exactly work like that.
Right.
And, you do, I think it's 7 days a week. Now, key thing is it's a very fun business.
Very fun. Very fun lifestyle.
Right. And some might argue no, in the sense of, boy, you're at dinner at 7 o'clock at night. And that's why having a great partner is so critical. I mean, if you're kind of just flying solo, and you can be an individual agent, don't have to, have a business partner per se, but you have good relationships with other, colleagues in your office or your team, where you have a dinner event on a Saturday night at 7. You're on an offered deadline. In my case, I reach out to Damien and be like, look, I got a commitment tonight.
Yeah.
Can you help out and write this offer for us? But so there is that component, though, of the business that it is 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And there's times it's gone into midnight, 1 a.m. on a Saturday, putting a deal together.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds crazy, but you've done it.
Oh, yeah.
You've done it.
We've all done it.
I think most deals happen from 7 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the
They
morning.
do, yeah.
That's really what I think.
Because you try to push for it during the day, but then everyone's unreachable.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that to me, if you're going to get started in the business, to understand that there are no usual business hours, there are no weekends off. Good luck if you want to go boating in the summer.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
I know.
Or have a plan.
Well, honestly, I think that's why I have a team, is I buy time with my team. Running a team is not very profitable, especially early on. And so it's like, if you're not doing it because you love it and you're not doing it because you can have some time, then yeah, you're not going to last very long, because it's not about the money. That's for damn sure.
I would say someone getting into it, if someone's listening out there that's getting into this and there's individual agent, if you get a call, you got to take it. If it's 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, someone's shooting you a text because they're looking at something on Zillow, take it and answer it, because guess what they're going to do if you don't answer it? They're just going to go to the next person until they get the answer they want.
Yep.
So, I mean, I know some people don't want to do that, but I think we've flourished at that. I mean...
Yeah, is that what you guys could kind of point to for your success building, was just grinding harder than most?
I'll work you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do they say? 15. What's the statistic? 15% of new agents don't make it after a year or two.
Well, it's 90. I think it's 92% of agents fail in the first 5 years. I don't know the first year thing, but yeah, most people don't make it.
So I look at it this way: I was the 1% that got a full ride for college basketball scholarship.
Right.
You think I care about 8%? If I can be in the 1%, I'm sure as hell not worried about the 8%.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's kind of what our mindset is that we're going to go out and attack it. We're going to find a way. And I think, I mean, I think people looked at us. Some people looked at us like we were crazy. You guys want to be 2 individual agents and you're going to start your own team. Most people didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Coldwell took the chance on it. And I think that's, I give Joe Brahman all kinds of credit for it. He believed in us and, took us in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And said, hey, we're going to make you guys a team.
Yeah.
I would say this, though, if you're a new agent starting, getting on a team that has great lead gen would be the first step that I would take. That could be joining your team, Tyler.
Yeah.
It could be Parker Pemberton's team.
Right.
Where you have good lead flow is everything, because with each transaction that you do, you learn and you gain. And so getting a lot of transactions helps you get more confident, be more competent in the field, right?
Right.
And then, through doing transaction volume, now you start to build this little referral base for yourself.
Right.
And in the case of Damien and I, we started at Chris Lindahl. That was a great place to start.
Lots of great agents come out of that brokerage.
Yeah.
Lots of, some of the best trained ones, because you guys have so many different deals you're doing, and just that experience, you just learn.
Yeah, the transaction volume is extremely high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we, we did very well, over there. It was a good starting place for us. But through that, all of our stats are public, right? So how many deals Damien and I are doing, and Coldwell Banker was recruiting us individually.
Right.
I saw the volume of transactions we were doing, and I was just of a mindset, I'm not going anywhere for 2 years. Just not. I'm going to do as many over here as I can. Joe Brahman from the Stillwater office just continued calling every 2 months. And he finally said something to me that just really made me stop and think. He asked me, how many transactions did you do last year, David? And I said, I did 52, year one. And he said, do you mind me asking how much you made off of those 52? And I think my 1099 was 117,000. So about, 2,300 per deal. And he just said to me, he said, look, it's a phenomenal year in terms of volume, number of transactions, but I just don't understand why you would want to have to sell 52 houses to make $117,000. And I said, Joe, that's a good point. So at that point, I went back to my broker and said, I'm getting hammered on recruiting calls, kind of want to be loyal, but man, I don't want to sell 52 houses to make, can we talk about, compensation structure? And largely there just wasn't any interest, in modifying or improving compensation.
Yeah.
And
when you got a huge team, it's tough. Like, it's hard. I get you do it for you got to start doing it for everybody. Like, I get that. But I totally hear what Joe Brahman, his name?
correct,
was saying. Like, and I say that to my agents all the time too. Because, they get hammered with recruiting calls and all that stuff. And it's just like, I hear you. Like, you can go and, sell like less houses, let's say at 100% commission place on your own. But I think it comes down to like the quality of life. And I think that's what Joe was kind of getting at. Obviously there's money, right? But if you're selling 52 houses, you're also crazy busy.
Correct.
Right. And so is it worth your time to go and do all that for the money you're receiving?
Correct. And it was nice. I mean, there was no out-of-pocket expense for our marketing, right? I mean,
Right.
Chris's brokerage, did all the lead gen through Zillow, so we didn't have that, out-of-pocket risk, which is nice, starting up. But, Damien, I think, did 60 deals his first year. And so the same broker at Coldwell Banker was calling Damien, and Damien and I were kind of, we almost started at the same time in the business, both had basketball backgrounds and just kind of had a kinship. And, it's funny, the harder someone has to work for you, maybe even just like in dating, right? Joe Brahman persisted and was always no, and he improved his recruitment bonus like every single time.
Yeah.
I call him Joseph.
I mean,
we gotta get to that point.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, Joseph. Let's talk real numbers
Yeah.
here, right?
He so Damien and I talked, and it's like Coldwell's coming after they're coming after us, and maybe we should be a package deal, right? Just like recruitment, like
NIL. We started the
Maybe.
NIL in Coldwell Banker.
But so we we had lunch. I said, Joe, I said, look, Damien and I we're pretty close, we're pretty tight. We're open. We'll have lunch. We can sit down at lunch, and had Joe ready to go. And this is like probably a year of recruitment. And, we knew where the numbers were kind of, and we just threw out and said, Joe, here's the deal. Get to this number, and we'll sign that deal and come over to Coldwell Banker. So the moral of that story is, you start your career at a team, you prove yourself that you have the aptitude and ability and the drive to be good, then other brokerages will, come after you. And in our case, we really were, to get two guys first year that did 115 deals combined, that's a pretty good.
Huge, yeah.
But we were able to get a signing bonus, for moving over, which
Right.
helped us, be able to invest in our lead gen.
Yeah.
That wasn't exactly coming out of our own pocket. But the joke we always made to Joe was, once we got the number squared away on how much it was going to be, I was like, Joe, dude, you can come out on the boat. Damien and I just bought on Tonka. And thanks so much for that signing bonus, right?
Yeah, we're really reinvesting into our business.
Correct.
We're going to lead
guys,
gen
please.
on the island in Minnetonka. Like that's where we're going to pick up our leads, Joe.
Yeah.
One other thing I would say, and this goes back to that, where we were previously at, is that having that many transactions, you see a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And one thing that I did when I was there that I thought was very beneficial is, and I don't, the name Sarah Melby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, she's over at Kelly Brown's team.
Yep.
But until I got my comfort level down with listing a home, on the buy side it was like, until I got my comfort level down listing a home, I just took her on as a partner.
Yeah.
And that was maybe like 6 deals, and just say, hey, listen, I'm going to give you half the commission. I'm taking you as a partner to learn. I think that as a new agent, it's better off doing that and having all your I's dotted and T's crossed, rather than just going in there and trying to free world it.
So she had experience.
She had a ton of experience. She had 10 years experience. And so it's like, I think the thing is that, you gotta you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, but having her as a mentor through that process, no one told me to do it.
Yeah.
No one told me to say, hey, Damien, you should do this. No one
Yeah.
told me to do it. I just took it upon myself to do it.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, who can I benefit from the most doing this?
Right.
That's going to help me be successful in the future. And then obviously I built a great friendship with David, and we just envisioned what we wanted to do going forward from that standpoint.
Yeah, I think mentorship is like, my goodness, probably the most important thing anybody in this industry can do. Like, we all start not knowing anything. Like, even if we've bought or sold a few of our own houses, like, you don't know shit, because that's not even close to what this industry is even about.
Even when you pass the 2 tests,
Yeah.
it means nothing,
Yeah.
right?
You don't know anything, so it's like, go be in an environment where you're not just like in an office with people. Like, I think it's very important to find a mentor or two where you can shadow them. You can maybe work for free for a little bit if you have to. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that, you hear the big like CEOs of these big companies, or whatever, these really high-end individuals, high net worth individuals. A lot of them talk about how they like they sought out someone, worked for free for a little bit just to learn from them, and like then went and did their own thing. And it's like,
most basketball coaches did that.
Yeah.
They were GAs, or they did the team laundry.
Graduate assistant.
GA, graduate. That is correct. For
I
those
didn't
that
know
don't
Not
know
general
that.
admission.
not down. Yeah. No.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point. It's like, you have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to you have to love the grind.
Yeah.
And we do.
Well, I ask my team members this all the time. And first off, you were saying, God, what the heck were you saying earlier? It'll come back to me. But you were saying something like, that's exactly what I say to my team members. But I also ask any new agent that's going to join our team, whether they're new or experienced, whatever. But if they're going to join our team, I'm like, do you know what your job is as a realtor? Because I was asked this, and I failed miserably. I said, well, to help my clients buy and sell houses, obviously. And my regional manager at the time was like, no, wrong. I'm like, oh, fuck me then. I don't I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And he's like, if you don't do this thing, if you don't do your job, you're out of a job, right? So you have to find the next lead. That's your job. Everything else is a byproduct of that one thing. So if you don't do that every day, it ain't going to work for you. And like, so that's so important, I think, to starting out.
Sure.
And I think a mentor would teach you that, because you'll just naturally see them doing that every day.
I think too, you have to understand who you are.
Right.
Like in terms of, I don't like doing a lot of social media.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very invisible, which is kind of weird as a real estate agent, but I know for me, I just don't enjoy social media. So I got to find other ways to maybe
none of
generate
us
business.
actually enjoy social media.
Yeah.
So just make that very clear.
I don't mind doing a little throwback Thursday now and then.
It's fun every now and then, but you're the smart one out of all of us, by the way.
No, there's maybe lost opportunity there though. So, honestly, I laugh sometimes through real estate, sometimes you land on good investment opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
The first couple rental properties, there were houses I showed prospects, clients of mine, and it seemed like an incredible value, even in the market we'd been in 2021, 22, where it was hard to find good value and everything was getting bid up. But I said to my client, like, dude, if you don't buy this house, I'm telling you, I will buy it. I feel that strong, and I don't say that to like try to pressure you.
Yeah.
But I'm just being sincere.
Well,
like,
you have to disclose that actually anyways. You know what I mean? If you have personal interest in it.
did not even know that.
Yeah.
But it.
You do.
You just learned something today.
There you go, baby.
Tyler
Good thing I
Miller.
said that.
Yeah, exactly.
I was very clear. I'm not saying it as like a sales tactic, just how strongly I feel about, the property. But so that kind of got me into buying some investment properties.
Yeah.
Like all of my earnings go toward buying, investment properties. Some people put it in the market, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But you're trading on inside information when you're investing in what your occupation is, real
I
estate.
say that all the time. Yeah.
And so you start to recognize deals and values. But so, a couple of the investment properties I run as Airbnbs. All right.
Where are those at?
Actually, St. Louis Park.
Okay.
Which has a weird Airbnb restriction rule that you can't find anywhere on their ccity website. Anywhere.
What's the restriction rule?
30-day minimum.
Okay.
Which they don't really enforce unless a neighbor complains.
Right.
But nonetheless, you got to learn the business. But I would clean my own Airbnbs. I'm talking making the beds, duvet covers.
Yeah.
Can we swear on here?
Yeah.
Fuck duvet covers. But I mean, I was doing that, and I mean, scrubbing toilets and instead of hiring out a cleaning service. But I was thinking to myself, this is how much you hate creating social media content. Like, you're willing to be like cleaning these places.
Right.
I mean, I'm in there for 2 hours and I could be, creating content. So I just bring that up to kind of, you understand who you are, know who you are. And for me, us, and it helped, getting the signing bonus with Coldwell Banker, that it wasn't money coming out of our own pocket per se.
Right.
But, I will pay for lead gen, in some ways. And now this is another thing, you can talk to a lot of different people. Parker Pemberton had recruited us pretty heavily as well.
Mm-hmm.
Great team over there. Yeah, great team.
And we'd asked, Parker, what do you feel is best, marketing dollar spend, for lead gen?
Yeah.
And he said, tried everything. I've tried it all. And maybe Google local ad services, but, Zillow was probably, furthest down the funnel and best.
Yeah.
And that's what we came up on over at Chris Lindahl, was Zillow leads. So we do invest, but it's not always easy. But I mean, I think it's been some tough times, maintaining the investment at the level, and being consistent about it. I think some people will, okay, we'll spend $5,000, $10,000 a month with Zillow for 3 months, but you only maybe got one deal, and then you stop. And it's really, there were some months there where it was really difficult to, put in
Winter 2022. Winter 2022 was brutal.
He was eating ramen noodles. You know what I mean? Got some noodle cups.
No, it's funny you say that, because I totally hear you. We have Zillow. We got a lot of different lead sources that we pay for, and it's some days it's a little harder to watch that money go out of the account, but unfortunately it's those leads usually are 6 months to 12 months out, most of them. Some of them you get lucky, right, and they're ready to go, but it's an investment in the future,
And all you need is maybe one or two that's going to take care of 6 months for you.
Right.
I mean, that's what I think is great about that.
Wait, say that again?
Sometimes you only need one or two really slam dunks out of that can take care of up to 6 months for you.
Yeah. Technically, depending on your price point.
Yeah.
St. Louis Park, sure. You'll probably get a couple good ones out of there, and pays for 6 months worth of your ad spend. But up here in Blaine, price is a little bit different.
What have you found, Tyler, in terms of, for your lead gen? Either paid or organic? What's worked best for you?
Over the years, the best lead source for me has been social media. And I'm not running any ads, just organic, people basically staying top of mind. My other podcast is called the Obvious Choice Podcast. And that's my strategy on social media. My dad told me a long time ago, you got to be the obvious choice, So I've embraced that mentality of just stay top of mind. I've tried paying for ads on social media. It's horrendous. Don't even waste your time, in my opinion. But then as far as paid ads goes, I do agree with Parker. I think Zillow is probably the best out of all of them so far. But they're, the best agents out there are converting those at maybe a 8 to 10% clip. You know what I mean? Our team is right around 12 on average.
It's pretty good.
It's I mean, but we have we've learned from Parker, we've learned from other people the kind of the process of what we should be doing, but it's still 12%. It's not that great. Right. So I think some people misinterpret because I did Zillow back when I was at Edina Realty before I knew anything. I was well, I got to try it. And then I'd get 20 leads just to myself over a course of a month or something, and was horrendous with follow-up on those leads specifically because I didn't know those people, and I didn't like that. I liked working with people I knew. So if you do Zillow, you have to have a very strong follow-up system. Otherwise, it's horrendous. And you have to be able to go show houses at a moment's notice, which also didn't always work for me. So now that I have a team, it's helpful, but it's a tough racket. It's not for everybody, that's for sure.
Right.
So that's been my experience. Zillow, paid, social media.
And you know what the crazy thing is? He doesn't like social media, but we ran this commercial when we first started.
Yeah.
brilliant. He was brilliant in it. And so it's just, I don't know why.
This is his coming out party.
Exactly.
This is it right here.
So I handle a lot of the social media, but our new agent is from the advertising industry. So we are excited about what January is going to be like from a social media standpoint. But I think the social media talent is there.
Is absolutely
It's
there.
just-
He's oozing with knowledge, I can tell.
Exactly. I mean, and we can't share this, but we have great ideas outside of what we did originally that are funny. You know, one thing that I really like that I would like to tap into is, you ever see the ESPN commercials? Like
Yes.
how those are just great.
So good.
They're just phenomenal, right? So it's like, but we'll see. We'll get him out of his. We'll get him. You know,
This might be the start. Just give him a
he
podcast.
just doesn't need to clean toilets and stuff anymore. You can hire somebody for that. Do some social media, sell some houses, right? We get the Zillow
It
piece
depends
out.
on the content you're trying to do, but I mean, if you want to go more educational based, there's a huge. That stuff is very important, very impactful to people. So it doesn't always have to be like a TikTok dance or something. You know, you can.
Yeah.
can go
Now, I'll tell you what,
educational.
though. In my former frozen yogurt business, all right, I bought a few billboards, with that. And as part of that, was invited to, they had their national creative director, Outfront Media, had their national creative director do a presentation here in Minneapolis. Really bright guys. I've seen second largest out-of-home billboard company in the country.
Yeah.
And here's your national creative director giving a presentation. And he said two things that I wrote down in that seminar that I went to that really stuck with me. He said 100% of boring advertising content doesn't matter,
Yeah, very true.
and mediocre is forgettable. Okay, and so that's kind of where when we did our launch party of our brand, Guaranteed Not Cheesy, and having fun with it. And it was not, boring. And hey, Chris Lindahl, his arms out thing, it's memorable.
Yeah.
Love it or hate it.
Yeah.
But, that's, you got to have your authentic voice in social media, I think, too. And, I'm not sure if I'm serious or if I'm all fun and game. It's just, you got to kind of find that authentic voice.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to have fun
Yeah.
in your social media.
Just give it a try. Jump in. I bet you'll be great.
Part of it is like I try doing a reel and my shit doesn't format right or something. And it looks
that's the most
goofy and
frustrating. Oh my god! Don't even talk to me.
I don't have time for this.
Dude, I went to go. I
got toilets to go clean.
I went to go. Yeah, I got toilets to clean. I went to go post a reel like right before you guys got here and posted on Instagram. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna download this really quick and I'll throw it in everything else. Download it from Instagram. It downloads with no audio because the audio doesn't copyright over to Facebook, even though Facebook owned the Instagram. So then I have to go on TikTok to try to find the fucking same audio. Don't have it. So I put my own different audio on there, post on TikTok, download it from TikTok to then post it onto Facebook. And then the Instagram story shares differently through Instagram than it does on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
So then you have to post the story. It's the biggest piece of shit. Like social media is the biggest time suck ever. And that's why I hate it, but I love it because it has done so much for my career. But my God, if you can just keep selling houses and never go on there, do it.
Yeah.
But once you do it, you'll realize it does work.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Do you remember when we did our commercial release? It was supposed to be at a certain date, a certain time. He ends up posting it a day early. And I'm like, you didn't realize it's out right now? He goes, oh, no. I was just trying to test that.
He was doing the beta.
Exactly.
Well, now they have
Way to
scheduled.
take it down.
You can schedule posts now on Facebook.
That's right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
yeah.
at
We
least
should,
that will never
And
happen.
you know what? And that's I think I don't know. I not getting caught up in perfection is always I think
Right.
maybe something that things don't have to be perfect.
No.
I guess, but I want
It's better that
what
they're
I
not.
put out,
Honestly.
to look.
I agree.
But it's like I want what I put out to look polished, and like
It
done right.
Depends on your brand. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, for me, like I'm not trying to be. I don't know what your niche is. Like, let's say it was luxury or something. Yeah, you got to have a different attitude on social media than like me and Damien slinging homes in Blaine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
That'd be a good one. That would be a good one.
what?
Slinging homes in Blaine.
Slinging homes in
Yeah, that'd be good. I like that.
Yep.
I think what I would want, ideally what I like is the Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson real estate team. That's kind of like, we have
It's
fun
actually,
with it. Yeah,
it's actually a really good analogy.
That's kind of what it is. I mean, in some way, shape, or form.
You're obviously Vince Vaughn.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
obviously.
Yeah.
He's definitely more the Owen Wilson type.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And
Can I be Chaz?
You can be Chaz.
Yes. I'm not kidding.
Take the picture. I'm dead. Died in a hang gliding.
Meatloaf.
Ma.
Meatloaf.
I'll tell you what.
Meatloaf.
That I remember
What does
being
he
in
do?
the
It
theater.
does this, right? That's where that comes from. See, that's where that comes from on your. I always see your posts on your reel. You're always doing this.
Just doing this. It's
he's doing the
Chaz.
Chaz. Yeah.
Man, I remember being at the movie theater when that movie came out, and
So good.
like when they finally revealed who Chaz was, and he comes out of the darkened stairwell with a
Yes.
gong. I think the gong, and then it's Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Oh my God.
We're in a Komodo.
It was.
Who
It was.
fuck are you?
Picking him up at funerals.
It's great.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah.
There it is. We got to figure it out.
I'm telling you, and I was, then did you ever see the internship with those two?
Yes.
Oh yeah, and they go to
I
Google.
love those two. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. We go back to, we could have did something. We go back to real estate school.
Yeah.
And we're in real estate
Yeah.
school doing something like. I mean, there's so
So
many
things.
ideas.
I know.
So they're just.
I think of all
endless.
those things too. I actually, one time I thought about when it was back in like 2021 when the market was on fire. My one team member, Jaden, he's been on my team for 6 years. He's just this lovable guy. And he always does these like fun videos, like once or twice a year, he'll do this epic video about like a home buyer workshop, and he'll be climbing up and down a playground talking about the twists and turns of the home buying journey and going down a slide and all this shit. And I'm like, dude, here's what we got to do. The market's hot. I want you to go up to a house and I want you to touch it. And it's going to be like, wow, the market's on fire. And I want to light your arm on fire. I was like, I want to set you on fire. Don't worry, we'll do it in the winter time so you can like roll around on the ground. But I had him convinced like I was going to set this dude on fire because of how hot the market was. He was on board. His wife, not so much.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Like with 100% of boring advertisements don't matter.
Yeah.
And mediocre. I mean, that kind of content. I mean, we always do. Like, I mean, hey, going down a playground and slide. I mean, like, it's not cookie cutter. It's not
It's
in the
different.
box. It's memorable.
It's
you know, and
not
that's
someone sitting in their office talking to a camera, right? And
correct.
You know what you got to do for your next, because he does these battles.
Script battle.
Script
Yeah.
battles. Here's what you got to do. So you put them both in another room, and they both got out. The first one walks out, but they're gonna walk out to music.
to music, right?
And then the second one will walk out to music.
We should set
How
up kind
great
of like a WWE.
Exactly.
match.
They're coming out, or like Jake Paul coming out
Yeah.
in fights, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And they got to pick their song.
Well, now that we're doing it at Marigold's venue, we could do some fun
you
things.
could
Yeah.
have the music coming out and everything. You could have,
Get like they need like a good like manager too. Like
how great would that be for content?
Be
And
so
then the champion walks out with the belt.
hell yeah.
With someone holding the belt
Dude,
behind him. I'm telling
We'll just
you.
do a Money in the Bank match where the belt's hanging from the ceiling and they
Oh,
just
I
got to
love it.
climb up the ladder to get it.
There's so much potential with that.
So
But
much potential.
what kind of just imagine the content you
I
can
know.
do from that from a
I know.
social media standpoint. And that's what's fun about it. I mean, we're still in the beginning stage where we can do this, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one thing that me and him are both good at, we're good at recruiting. And so we're recruiting the right person that's going to, I
Mm-hmm.
think, take the time on that, has a background in it.
So you're recruiting like a marketing person right now?
So that's Casey. When he's coming
Okay.
on, he's more going to be, like you said, he's been in the advertising industry.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid can sell anything.
Yeah.
He can
Yeah.
sell bubble gum at the Lockjaw Ward up in Bellevue. All right? This kid can sell anything. It's unbelievable.
I like that one. That
Yeah,
one's awesome.
exactly.
Boiler Room.
Boiler Room.
That's so good.
Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
Oh,
I love Boiler
jeez.
Room.
I mean,
Don't start Damien on movies. Just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't.
I'm probably right there with you.
I already got my Sirius 7 license. Well, you can leave too.
Yeah. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Beat it, Schlep Rock.
Well, so a lot of things were kind of said there in the middle of a lot of stories. So I think anybody that's listening, I mean, lots of good things from both of you. But if you could give them kind of like, I know we wanted to talk about like creative finance. Like, what's like the most creative deal that like you continuously go to that seems to get problem solved for people? You know, like,
I have an investor that does contract for deed.
okay,
I mean, that solves everything because he'll buy it in cash and he'll sell it back on contract for deed.
okay.
That eliminates a lot of problems.
So basically, anybody you come across,
But you know, the thing is, they got to have about 15 to 20% down. So that's
Right.
not anybody you come across. I think anybody I mean, to be honest with you, I try to stay in my lane as much as I can, and the people that I'm going to refer them to are going to be able to take care of their financing. I trust them that much.
Right.
They're able to do that.
so let's say you come across somebody that doesn't have 15, 20% down. They got 5. Their credit's a little low. What's your creative option for them other than credit repair?
I mean, at first you're gonna recommend them to you're going to recommend them to a lender that's going to help try to find out what their strategy is,
Right.
where they're at, and if they're credit repair, if they're not credit repair. I think the second situation is like what's their expectation level. I mean,
Right.
you know how that can change significantly. 5% can change significantly. Are they FHA? I mean, all of a sudden you look at a different scope of houses.
Right.
I mean, and the thing is like you can get creative with some of the stuff as well. There might be a situation where you can contract for deed at that low. Typically,
Yeah.
it's not. But I think the thing is like, what are the different solutions? What's FHA? What do you have off market properties?
Yeah.
Who do you know that's into industry that has something they could sell that can maybe work with that type of financing? So it's looking
Right.
at those solutions and networking those people.
If you are a newer agent or maybe an agent that just doesn't have a investor connection like you, for example, where would you recommend they start to try to find that connection? Like how would you go seek out somebody that would just buy houses and sell them back at a contract for deed? Like,
I mean, I would say most good brokers should have some kind of a point person,
yeah,
but go to networking events. Just go. You're going to get invited to plenty of them.
yeah.
Just go to them.
And then you're just asking people, hey, you got someone that can do
I'm
this?
just like, hey, listen, if you ever know somebody's in the business for doing this, and you know, the thing is, you're going to have more people than you want to deal with from an investor standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot, but there's only one I specifically like to work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
You know, I think contract for deed it can be a great play, and the key thing again is that they have some skin in the game,
They got the
10%
money,
down,
yeah.
right? You know, and the buyer of the contract for deed isn't taking a risk because they got pretty good equity protection in it already. You know, I've done some more on the investor side of things in terms of hard money, finding a couple good hard money lenders where
For those listening that don't understand hard money, quick summary of what that entails.
Yeah, it's basically you can get 100% financing for an investment property, but you're going to usually pay 2% of the amount you want financed, and your interest rate's going to be 10 to 12%. These are for kind of flip 3 to 6 month in and out. They'll lend you the money for 1 year, and then they want it back.
And you'll pay 2 points,
2 points, so yeah,
on the total, plus every month 10 to 12% in interest.
correct. And you got to factor that into your calculator in terms of what you think the flip can be worth. And then too, there's small community local banks here that they don't underwrite the same. It isn't like you have to have 20% down.
Right.
That's what's different about hard money lenders. They will look at credit. And they want to see that you've at least had a good repayment history, but they're looking at the deal. They're looking at what is the loan to value, the before repaired value and the after repaired, and they will lend on the after repaired value. So you have this dated house that you're going to buy for $250. You have a plan, you're going to maybe put $75 into it, so now you're up for $325, but we think the after repaired value is $400. Usually what they're going to do is they'll say, okay, we'll lend to you based on the after repaired value. So we'll lend to you based on a $400,000 sale price versus the $250 you bought it for. So that's how you can kind of get toward 100% financing, where you're able to buy property without any money out of your pocket. And it's making money with other people's money. They're getting a return that they like. The 2
10
points.
to 12% return is awesome, plus the 2 points. I mean,
Correct.
better than most investments that you can get.
Correct. And I think there's I think the website's called Goldmine, if I'm not mistaken, where they're by state. You can just get a list of people who are interested in lending hard money
Gotcha.
that way.
Is there anything you should look for, like be cautious of with hard money lenders?
I think you just know what it is. I mean, you're getting 100% financing. You have really no risk in it other than maybe, they're going to go on the mortgage, so they're protected that way, right? they're going to have a lien position in it. But you're paying a high rate of interest for not coming out of pocket any of your own money.
How do you know it's not just some like dude just sitting around? Like it's just like I would imagine there's the more like the minor leagues, and then there's like the professionals. Can you tell them apart at all, or you just kind of have to?
Honestly, I don't have a good answer for that.
Because I think like anybody listening, just be careful because there's probably not great ones too, and it could hurt you real quick.
Yeah. You can go downward very fast.
Yeah, because I've heard lots of not great stories with hard money lenders, but it is a great opportunity to make something happen if you have a good relationship with those people, for sure.
Right.
But yeah, like my neighbor back in the day did hard money lending stuff. Like I don't know. There's just been some weird stuff where I think people get taken advantage of.
If someone approaches me with something like that, I always say, get a second opinion from our guy, and that way you're gonna at least. Because I'm not 100% comfortable telling you what's right or what's wrong. I'm not the professional here. Let me point you in the direction of somebody else, and that way you can see if it's legit or not.
Yeah.
And I think the people that we refer out from a loan officer standpoint, they're going to be very upfront and honest with any client.
Do you guys go into your listing appointments with offers from investors in hand already?
No.
Do you bring cash offers to all of your sellers?
It's an option.
Yeah,
it's one of our we have several different options of how we do it. We will either do one that just can get you a cash offer right away. We can do one where we'll just sell it internally because some people still are not over the the COVID days or don't want people in their house, and then the other one's just traditionally.
Yeah.
So it's whatever way they want to approach it.
I've always thought about like doing that, like just having one already, but we've never got to that point.
We have a person that would do it.
Right.
Gosh, I mean, sometimes you come in there and they want to wholesale the thing, and the offer is just shit. You know what I mean? It's like if someone comes in there and like, yeah, they were buying for 120. Fuck you.
I know.
We're not going to work with you. So I think
it could like turn them off to working with you.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I just say these are the different options, and if you're interested, we'll have a cash offer for you in 24 hours, and it could be good and it could be horrible.
Yeah.
It's just based on the data that I'm going to provide them and based on the information I'm going to take down when we're here today.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have that unique experience working when you're at Lindahl. Like that was something you guys just did. I've never had that option, like really ever.
The guaranteed offer that's not guaranteed.
That one, yeah. Edina Realty never had that, or any there was no investor button I could press when I was there. So it's just
you have that
unique.
now though, no? You have an investor.
We have a guy. I don't typically like bring it up. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one thing we always bring up. It just depends on the situation.
Yeah. It's on our website. It's in our listing presentation. It's just like most of my clientele, they're trying to sell their house traditionally, but.
How long is your listing presentation? Do you
know? Well, so ours is included in our digital brochure, which is like all about our team and stuff. But the actual listing presentation section is 4 pages.
Smart.
Yeah. It used to be long. Used to be very long.
I'll tell you what I learned in my venture capital raising days, trying to raise capital. Don't have a pitch deck more than 12 slides.
Yeah.
Like it's over.
Yeah.
Just don't. And I'll never forget where we came from when we were given a 38-slide listing appointment deck and the amount of time that was put into it. I mean, it looked nice, but this is the 140-character Twitter era
I know
that we're in. And you want to lose somebody quickly, go through a 35-page listing presentation.
It's so funny you say that. When I first started, I was grasping for every little thing that I did. You know what I mean? And I made I think it was like 45-point listing presentation. It was like the for sale sign. And then, we have a sign with a QR code on it. And I'd go through every little detail. And you just see their eyes just glazing over like, dude, can we just sign? So like one thing I will say about social media that you probably don't need this at this point. You're well established. But for people listening, like, I don't even go over my listing my listing presentation anymore. I always offer it every single time. Nobody wants to see it because they're like, yeah, Tyler, we see what you do. Like we're good. And I literally ask every single person like this. I'm like, would you like to understand how I earn my commission? Nope, we're good. we see what you do, or you were referred from this person, we were good. Like, you know, so like I think the social media thing can work for lead gen, but also like it's basically your listing presentation at this point. And I realized that maybe like 4 years ago, where people just stopped needing me to explain it. And I always want to, because I always feel bad. You know, I'm like, I'd be happy to tell you what we have. We have some awesome things. You know, this is what we do. This is why we use these people and all this stuff. But nobody cares. They just trust you because I'm showing success constantly on social media. So that's another tip.
That's and I think it's maybe a little bit of my hurdle with social media in some ways, is that you have to get past the mindset of it being, I don't know. To me, it's like, you know how it is in real estate. Once you're a realtor, you get all these realtor friends,
yes.
right? And then I don't go on social media very often. I just don't. But when I do, and I go down my feed and thread, it's all the realtors, you know, and it's just like, just listed, under contract, pending, sold, you know, and you see all this content. And then in my mind, I'm thinking like my social media actual like friends, that their feed might look the same, but they're not following 150 realtors.
Yeah.
You know, there's just not as many in there. But someone made a comment like, you know, it's just, what is it about real estate that realtors always are doing that, but like dentists aren't being like, just did a great root canal today, you know,
did a
success, you know, and
come on, dude, they're showing pictures of people's teeth all jacked up.
Honestly, they should though. I'd follow that person. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah, you know,
It'd be great. Yeah.
like they have a video just drilling some guy's teeth. He's like, ah.
That just sounds like a Larry David episode.
Yes.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
So good. My dentist is actually on TikTok. She's pretty good. She does like reels and But
my sister's an orthodontist and does that. Yeah.
That's good. I mean,
But no, I hear you. Yeah.
There's just that component of having to get past. I think, you know, for me, it's like I have to get past the mindset of like, this is like, look what I did, and that it isn't really about that. It's more that like I know that I'm good at what I do, and that I have value to add to my social media network or friends. I know I'm good, but I guess I was putting it out there. Just for me, I have a hard time getting my head around that, and you have to flip that. I think that mindset maybe, and just realize that you're not bragging. You are congratulating your clients,
and that's where I've always I'd say 90% of my stuff is like congratulating people, and that's why I feel like it's something I need to do. Is it's not even for me. It's like they deserve the shout out almost, you know, which who knows? They probably don't even care. But in my mind, that's what I feel. I'm like, they just sold their house. Like, it's a huge deal. Or they just got their first offer accepted. Like, hey, guys, can I celebrate you on social media? And they're like, yeah, I've been waiting for that. You know, like a lot of them are pumped. Some people are like, I'd rather not tell people right now. But that's why I do it. It's like, it's always been, hey, congrats to David and Damien.
Correct.
But yeah, there was a realtor the other day that put something on social media, and I normally don't say anything, but I messaged him and I'm like, hey, this is really bad. Like, you need to take this down. He was like shitting on another realtor's listing, you know? And I was like, no, like, this is not what we do, you know?
Yeah.
He was like, oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Thanks. And he took it down. But yeah, there's definitely a wrong way to do social media, I think. And one is like bragging about most homes sold, or I don't know, like that stuff I think falls on deaf ears. The only people that like those things are the realtors. You know, it's not like your clients are liking that post. Nobody cares.
I mean, I think the thing is, anytime you take pride in what you're doing, I think it's always good to show that.
Totally.
And you know, I know like sponsorship's a big thing. It's like I'm big on youth sports, sponsoring youth sports. I think it's great, and I think it's just like, you know, giving back. And I agree with you. I think the thing is, the more you can add on social media, and I think the other thing about social media that I look at is it's about tagging the right areas.
Right.
I mean, if I can get someone, we're selling a house, we just sold a house for $790 in St. Louis Park, and I got 10 views on a story from people in St. Louis Park. It makes a huge difference.
No, it does.
Yeah.
Well, I got a quick little fun lightning round for you guys. Just some fun overrated, underrated questions. Okay.
It's gonna be interesting if we agree on these or not.
Yeah, it's like I said, I've never had a tandem on here.
This is not scripted.
No,
people.
They don't know what I'm going to ask. But let's just start with the easy one. Okay. And first off, before we get into this, anybody that was listening, if you didn't get a lot out of that, you need to go back and listen to that because there was a lot of good nuggets there from both you guys. So thank you for being open and sharing some of those things. Those are great pieces of advice.
Watch The Boiler Room. That is a great movie. All right, it's actually called Boiler Room. It's not called The Boiler Room.
Yep, Boiler Room.
Correct myself there.
Wolf of Wall Street has some really good nuggets too. Love it. Maybe not the best person, but the sales stuff is really good.
Yeah.
All right. So again, overrated, underrated. So they could be short answers. You could give a explanation on what you think, but we'll start with this one. The 2023 Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, they're overrated.
You think they're overrated?
I do.
So they're currently, what are they, like 7-7 or 8-7 or some shit like that right now?
Yeah. I don't think they're. I hope they don't make the playoffs because I think they're going to get rocked. I mean, what are they looking at? I think they're looking at Eagles or Dallas right now if they make it in. I mean, you can't lose that many close games and deserve to get in there.
We have really improved our defense, though.
Yeah.
Our defense, other than the last game where they gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter for no reason, our defense has been on fire this year. It's been fun to watch.
But it's 2 of the last 4 games, though. They did the same thing to Denver.
Yeah.
They blew that one, too. So, I mean, it's like this should easily – I mean, this team is just they just make –
Drive me nuts.
Oh, it's just horrible, isn't it?
It is.
You know, thank God I was in a showing. When the game ended on Saturday, thank God I was in a showing. Otherwise, I would have lost my mind.
Oh, I was not. I was watching it, and the frickin' same, like, so you brought up Denver, and it's a, like, just touchy topic for me because the pass where the defender just watched it go into whatever the receiver's name was, and he didn't even try to, like, bat it out of his hand. And then the same shit happened with this game, too. Just, like, a little floater to the end zone. Guy's just, like, barely gets there in time, doesn't try to knock it out of his hands. He scores. I'm like, what is happening? Such a good defense, and they do shit like that. What about you? What do you think, David?
I'd say the Vikings this year, given the injury, I'd say underrated at 7-7 now,
Something like that.
Or 7
We're about 500.
They've been playing some cupcakes.
I'm just.
They can't even beat the cupcakes,
Hey,
man.
you know what though? I mean,
We shut out the Raiders.
Yeah, 3-0.
what's really interesting though?
And you think they're
Hey.
underrated? Oh my Lord!
Hey, it's so funny though. I mean, I
the
watched this
3
stuff.
of us could be out there and we would have scored more than 3 points.
Well, I find Kirk Cousins a fascinating just topic.
Yeah.
Just because he's such a lightning rod.
He is.
You know, and Dobbs came in and looked pretty darn good for
was
like
fun.
3 games. You know, they're having a mobile quarterback and it's so great. Well, the astronaut crashed back to earth pretty fast, and
his
maybe
rocket
Kirk
ran out of the
Cousins
field.
wasn't so bad. You know, and it's just quarterbacks obviously everything in the NFL, and
Everything.
you know, Cousins is, in my opinion, probably like 10 in the league.
He's easily
top third, you know,
Easily.
right? But
From an arm talent perspective alone, I think he's even like top 6. I mean, like
Maybe.
his arm, like his
Yeah.
accuracy, he's so good.
just doesn't have the mobility.
But this year I was so excited because he was not having his happy feet shit where he would like start to panic and curl up. He was taking fucking shots to the chest as he's just unloading this perfect dime to Hawkinson down the seam, and I'm like, holy shit! Like,
Start playing your people in the preseason.
Right.
Don't let the first 4 games of the year be preseason games where all of a sudden you're digging yourself out of a hole.
Yeah.
We'd be in a totally different situation. Granted, even if he was hurt, there's no reason we shouldn't be 9-7. I
Yeah.
mean, we're playing some cupcakes lately.
I love Cousins though. I'm the biggest
He
Kirk Cousins
earned his-
apologist. I think he's great. When Dobbs got in, I looked at my son after like 3 passes and I was like, we're in trouble. Like, and it was fun, but you could tell that every pass was behind a receiver. He wasn't. It was just bad. And he got lucky for a few games, and then all of a sudden, what happened? He threw 4 picks in one game, and my son looks at me. He's like, "You were right, Dad." I'm like, "I know. I told you." Like this, it's
We're at 10-17 or 10-14 right now if Cousins is playing.
easily.
But I still think I don't think they're the top threshold of the NFL.
Do you think we bring Cousins back?
Oh yeah, I don't think we have a choice. I think he's earned his keep. I 100%.
I just struggle with. I agree. I struggle with. It's like how I don't follow close enough. Like how good of a recovery can you come back from an Achilles at his age? Like I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. But that's the only. It's just like how much money is he going to command? Can we bring back Jefferson? Then can we bring back Danielle Hunter? Can we? It's complicated. But I agree. I'd rather have Cousins than pretty much anybody else on the team right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a good one. Let's see here. Well, we kind of talked about this. Listing presentations.
Overrated.
Overrated.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also agree. I think you got to have them, right? You got to have them. So make one, but if you do everything else correctly, if you're building rapport, if you're connecting with those people, and again, for me, if you're doing something on social media, like it's not ever been the biggest deal. Now, I'm not talking about the CMA. The CMA I think is important, but the actual like here's what we do and la-di-da, like
Show me what I'm going to make for money. What's my net going to be?
Right.
And how are you going to get there?
Right.
Without showing me a 30 slide.
yeah, right. I know. It's been COVID has been good for lots of things, not bad for some things, but like I've done a lot more of those via Zoom now. Like I used to always go back. I'm a 2-step guy. Do you guys do 2 steps or 1?
It depends.
Okay.
It really depends. I mean, I try to knock it all out in 1.
Yeah, most people do 1-step. I'm a 2-step guy, so like I'd always go back for the second appointment, but now I've just been like, hey, let's jump on Zoom, go over everything, and it's been great. So do your listing presentation however the hell you need to. Like, it doesn't matter. There's no perfect way to do it, would be my advice. But buyer consultations, overrated or underrated?
I think those are underrated.
I would agree. David?
Yeah, I'd also say underrated.
Yeah.
I think there's just a lot more involved on the buyer side.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and it could cost a lot more time, too, if they don't have their expectations set properly, right? Like
100%. I think there's some agents out there that are just like, I just need to get a buyer rep. I need to get a buyer rep. I need to get a buyer rep. Shit. I don't give you a buyer rep until the day we write a contract. I just won't do it. And
I
think
used to be the way that you used to describe, but now I'm more so the latter, where it's just like, I'll earn it when I need it.
Exactly. And the thing is, you know what? You may not want to work with me, and I may not want to work with you. So let's not make a contract in the situation.
Right.
But I do think the thing is like figuring out what their end goal is extremely important.
Right.
And they need to be led. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Tyler and Damien, I'd like to hear, do you have a sense or do you actually know the number most houses you've shown to a buyer before getting them under contract? Do you know the actual number?
I do, because it was my very first buyer ever.
Right. How many?
It was literally 100 on the nuts.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
This was back in 2004, 5.
Wow.
I don't know. It was weird, dude. It was. Just
Were they
weird.
looking in different areas too, or was it at least
We were
all in?
just, yeah.
Blaine?
It was like the Brooklyn Park general area.
Yeah.
But I was just inexperienced. I didn't know. We were seeing their budget was so low, and there was just maybe it was like 06 or I don't know. It was a time where not there was a lot of like crap houses on the market, you know. So I don't know. It was a lot. What about you?
Do you have?
The number?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I know it's probably. It's not that many. I can tell you that right now. It's nothing. Nothing close. I can guarantee it's nothing. Probably over like 25.
Honestly,
I
though,
never kept track.
It wasn't in that long of a period of time. We would do like 10 in a day because I was 18, 19 years old. I had nothing to do, so we just go see these freaking houses. And I think it was like over the course of 2 months, we looked at like 100 houses. It was a lot. What about you?
50s. I mean, I think 56, and they all were out in like Chaska, Victoria, Carver. I mean, they're a decent price point. Mm-hmm. But there was a point in time where I was like really close to just saying, man, I don't know if this, you know.
Is that before you wrote on one, though?
Yeah.
You saw 100 before you wrote on one?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay. Well, that's
100 like total before we got
under contract.
And they still live in that same house today.
That's great.
They love it. They've been there for over 10 years.
Hey,
great.
that's worth it.
Phenomenal.
I just checked in with them the other day. Just one of these days, I know they're going to be like, we're ready.
They got that holiday card from the Millers.
Let's talk about this one. You know, have you ever told a buyer or seller client, you know, that, look, I just don't think it's the right fit, and you're better served with someone else. I just don't think I can.
Yeah, not too often, because usually I get a sense before I even meet them. Like, do I even want to? The people that they call me like, "What's your commission?" I'm like, yeah, "Okay, it ain't gonna happen." I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Come on, just once say 12%.
Yeah.
just once have fun with it.
So I got really good
12%.
advice one time. They were like, the ones you don't want, just charge more than you think they'll agree to. Because if they happen to agree to it, now at least you're getting compensated for it.
I've done that with people that have unrealistic listing expectations. And do I really want the listing?
Yeah.
I'm like, we'll do 9%.
Yeah.
this place is a shithole. I
Yeah.
gotta pay somebody $4.50 just to come and see it.
Right.
You know,
I know.
I mean, and that way they'll move pretty quick from that.
Yeah, I think it's important, but it's really hard, especially early on, to like tell people no. You know, like you just want everything. So I definitely didn't like tell too many people no until like I'd say like 3, 4, or 5 years in the business.
I just told first person like
It feels good,
a
right?
couple weeks ago. Yeah, and it wasn't. It just I had said to her, I said everybody's working within a budget, and everybody is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and I don't mean this to sound the wrong way, and please don't take it that way. But like, you want to be in a great neighborhood. You want a house over 2,000 square feet. You want it to be in really nice condition, and you want it to be like under 375 in a first ring suburb. And those are, and with a house not yet sold, under contract, pending to be sold. But I just said, it's kind of, I mean, we have champagne taste on a beer budget right now, and like,
and it's still a good budget, but for where she wants to be.
Correct. And the
Not gonna
condition that she wanted, and we got her under contract at a great house over here in Circle Pines. I mean, like, it was multiples. They were going to work with us. When we showed the house, she said, "There's no way I'm getting this house," is what she said.
Yeah.
And couldn't believe that the listing agent called me the next day after the offer deadline. Like, I'm thinking, thanks for sending your offer in, but, we were in the mix. Couldn't believe it. $30,000 under what she was almost. Long story short, she decided that she didn't really like the 4-level split floor plan. And 2 weeks earlier, she told me she regretted not offering on one that I kind of pushed hard on. I said, this is a great value. And they did a price reduction to $350, and it contracted immediately. And she texted me like 3 days later, I kind of regret now not offering on that. And this one just happened, and I couldn't believe that she 180'd on me. And we'd been through maybe 15 houses, and I just said, and I don't think it's the right fit, and I can't continue to, work with a client who's continuing to pass on good opportunities.
Right.
And I just think we need to go our separate ways. And
you got bathrooms to clean, man.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean,
no, but I totally hear you. And
I don't know who his sister's going to go to now. And who she's going to work with. But it's Christmas next week. I can't imagine what that
Christmas will be
table's
very
going to look
interesting.
like when David said, I just fired my sister. I'm joking. It wasn't his sister.
it was his mom, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, his mom.
that's right.
Oh man.
Keep them coming, Tyler.
Yeah.
Like this.
A few more. I know you guys got a hard stop here pretty
I
quick.
can probably go a little bit
So let's see here. Gosh, I have a few of these, but I want to make sure that they make sense for you guys. I mean, I know David, you alluded to you work or you have to be okay working like 7 days a week and all that stuff. Do you guys take days off? Do you have like a day off scheduled?
No.
Okay. So I was going to ask, days off, overrated, underrated?
Don't care.
Don't care.
I could care less about a day. So obviously underrated. I don't care.
Okay. Because do you just find you just carve
no,
out?
you're saying days off are overrated.
I don't. Whatever. Yeah, I guess overrated. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
care about
overrated.
them. Yeah, overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Thanks
why. That's
thanks
why
for
David's here.
That's why we have. That's why
the
there's
balance.
two. Yeah, exactly. This is what we have to. When I say something stupid, he's here to correct it. Yeah, they're over.
Because I've always taken Wednesdays off for the last 5 years, 6 years.
Do you have an activity like golf or something?
No, I just with my family, and honestly, it's like mental for me. Like, if I know that I got like a day off coming up in a few days, I can like grind all day. If I didn't have a day off for the next 3 weeks or something, I would be very, very depressed very quickly. Just for me, that's just how I operate. I know it's very rare, but that's worked for me. I've gotten a lot of shit for it over the years from other realtors, but
The way I always look at it is when I was, in high school playing basketball, or when I was in college playing basketball, I always looked at if I took a day off, someone else was going to catch me. Someone was catching up to me. And I look at it, there's so much talent out there from a realtor standpoint in the Twin Cities. There's just a ton of it, right? So any day that I take off, I'm falling behind. I need to catch up. And so it's just a mentality.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, I can make it work. It's like, I don't mind sending properties over at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm watching, episodes of The Wire on Netflix. You know what I mean? I don't mind doing it. So to me, I enjoy what I'm doing. So it's not really.
Yeah. Well, and I always say, I'm like, okay, so just because I take a day off, one, doesn't mean that I'm not working.
Sure.
It just means I'm maybe not doing appointments that day. But I think a lot of realtors have a very big efficiency problem. I don't think they're very efficient with their time. I think lots of realtors like fuck around like all day, and then they say they worked, and it's like, what did you actually accomplish? Who did you actually reach out to? Do you have any conversations today?
Oh, by the way, speaking of like networking, and reaching out to people, Caleb Carlson?
I think so. It sounds familiar. I'm trying to.
Three Rivers now.
Yeah. He was with Coldwell Banker.
Yeah.
I think he went and started his own Real Broker or something. But I had done a deal. He was listing agent on a deal I did a while back, and I just looked him up, and he did a ton of business. I mean, a lot of very productive agent.
Yeah.
And this is maybe it was a year and a half, and I just asked, like, Caleb, how did you build your business? I mean, I was curious, and I was doing well.
Yeah.
But a year and a half in, but I was kind of curious. And he's from, I think, North Dakota or South Dakota? North Dakota. So didn't grow up in the metro, right?
Yeah.
So doesn't have ties to the area.
That's even more impressive.
Right. And so how'd you build your business? And he said, when I started, I committed to every day I had to have 25 conversations about real estate with people. I was like, 25 a day?
That's a lot.
Like, where are you finding these people? Like, he's like, oh, just at the gym, coffee shop. I mean, like, and I tip my cap to him. I mean, I am outgoing to an extent, but boy, oh boy, I mean, that is discipline. And that was like a holy shit, like, wake up call as far as like what it takes for some people.
Yeah, what it actually looks like for to be
He
successful.
has 25 followers on social media. He doesn't even have 25 posts.
That's true. I got more than 25 followers, but less than 25 posts.
There's hope for him because I hired. He has youth on it. My team member has youth on his side, but I hired Brady Holland, and when he joined my team, he didn't have a Facebook. He had like canceled it. I was like, oh, that's a problem because like what we do here is social media, so I need you to get on that. And now he's like crushing it. He posts like 4 times a day. He loves it. He has his own podcast, like all this stuff. So like, there's still hope for David.
Thank you. You know what? You guys just inspired me. We're gonna take it.
Oh, here we go.
Shit, come on,
We're not done yet.
Come
Look at
on,
him.
get
Look
in there,
at him. Get
Damien.
in there.
Look at that. There.
Oh man.
Maybe we'll post that to the gram.
Absolutely. Throw it on. It was for the gram.
#podcast.
Although I will say you didn't wipe your lens off, so
I know.
that's gonna bother the shit out of me.
And if
He
it's
sure as hell
possible.
doesn't know how to use PixArt or Canva.
Now,
He'll send it to me. Figure this shit out.
No, I'm just giving you shit. I'm like a blurry lens snob. Like anytime someone's about to take a photo, I'm like, hold on. I'm gonna wipe it off. Okay, this one's specifically for Damien. I have to know this. Best cologne from Abercrombie and Fitch. Which one is it?
Oh, it's fierce.
Come and smell me.
You're wearing fierce.
I'm wearing fierce. Yeah. So
just got weird in here.
Yeah.
Fierce.
Yeah, no, don't smell me down there. No, I'm just kidding. No, I was an Abercrombie and Fitch snob growing up. I loved it and loved Fierce. I have Woods as well, but I haven't found a new scent. It's just I've been with my wife since we were 15. So that's just how she knows me.
It works. It works.
Yeah.
You weren't a signature guy. You didn't like the signature.
No, I never deviated from Fierce. I think I started with Woods,
Yeah.
and that was good. And then they like discontinued it. So then I got Fierce.
Fierce started, I think, in like 2003.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But my kids, every time they come in my bathroom, they see the cologne bottle with like the basically naked dude on it.
Yeah. Oh,
And they're like, that's inappropriate, Dad. I'm like, I know. I didn't choose the bottle. I just like the smell that comes out of it.
Walk by Victoria's Secret. You get the same kind of advertising.
That's true.
By the way, and you just said, Tyler, that the fierce work, same, your girl,
Yeah.
15,
Yeah.
like still together all this time later. It reminded me of a great thing Damien said to a buyer prospect one time. Like, the guy's time frame for, I think, buying the house, like he's really wanting to buy something like in 6-12 months.
Yeah.
And I think he had a very attractive wife or girlfriend.
It was a girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
At the time, yeah.
And his time frame was like 6 months down the road. And what did you say to him, Damien? It was something to the effect of, go
I
ahead.
said basically, he said, we're looking at 6 to 12 months down the road. I go, if you said to me right now that you want to be 6 to 10 months down the road single, and she's with you, I go, you're going to say, hey, listen, I'm not going to date you.
Yeah.
Because, I'm waiting 6 to 10 months.
Yeah.
Are you going to let somebody else date her?
Yeah.
I go, absolutely not. It's like
No.
finding a house and the time is right. You do it.
Yeah.
And if you find the right person, no matter what the situation, you're going to date her.
Yeah.
Here's the best story. We've sold 3 houses for them. Yeah. 3. Yeah. We got him an investment property. Sold her house, got her a new house in the Fulton neighborhood. And here's the best story about all of it. And you don't even know this. I'm going to tell you right now. They're married. I just got their Christmas card 2 days ago. She's pregnant with a baby boy.
Hey.
Oh,
there
wow.
we go.
Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
That's fantastic. So shoot them a message. Yeah.
I'm not on their Christmas list, and that pisses
Well, I
me
don't
off.
think you sent out a card first. usually you have to. But isn't that, it's the right mindset. I tell people that all the
No, it
time.
is.
And the girl just loves it. They'll eat
Yeah.
it all up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They're just like, oh, yeah.
But that was one of those spontaneous, just like kind of genius moments of it's truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, like if you see, you think I'm not really wanting to date somebody seriously. I'm not ready to date somebody seriously. But you see, this, whether you're a guy, girl, whatever way you're going with it, but you see somebody that just really captivates you.
Yeah.
All of a sudden your time frame shifts, right?
Totally.
And
Everything
to
shifts.
correlate that, and he's with his girl, and they're talking about, well, we're probably 6 months down the road. And I think he said, did you see her and think, I'll wait 6 months before I ask her out.
Yeah, no.
Like, you saw her, you wanted, don't let this house that you feel.
Yeah. No, it's such a great analogy. I'm going to use it.
Selling. That's what we're doing over here. Always be
I'm
selling.
going to use it while wearing fierce cologne.
ABC. Always be closing.
Always be closing, baby.
Exactly.
Well, to wrap up, how about, let's see here. Oh, I'll ask this because I like to get top agents' perspective on this. So I'm going to ask brokerage, not yours in specific, not mine specifically, but just the brokerage you're at, overrated, underrated. And before you answer, I'm going to give you my answer, and I firmly believe this. If you would pick up Damian Troupe or David Brandner and drop them in some other brokerage, would they be successful? My thought is yes. So I always say I think the brokerage is a little overrated because I think personally, if you're a successful agent, I think you'd be successful in most situations. Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple of times where maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I just like to get your guys' opinion on that.
Go first.
No, I totally agree with the perspective of people who are successful doing real estate will be successful pretty much no matter the name of the brokerage that they're associated with. Now, I will say that there can be a handicap if the brand is not respected, and that certainly exists here in this market, not naming names, but
Sorry,
then,
my team, right?
absolutely not, Tyler. Widely respected, but there certainly are some that just aren't the same. And I said to Damien, I said, do you notice that, like, we're at Coldwell Banker now? Like, when you call another agent and just talk with them about, offer terms or whatever, like, are you picking up just a different vibe, like a different sense of the way they're talking comparative to where we came from, and like the way, and that was largely praised a function of the fact that where we came from was all new agents, many of whom didn't have a clue,
Right.
and maybe didn't even have much aptitude for it, but they're just like, let's give it, But there was definitely a big shift, I will say, when we identified ourselves as David with Coldwell Banker in terms of how other agents communicated, I think, with us.
Totally. I've had a couple agents join my team from your previous brokerage, and I told them that exact same thing. I said, you're, potentially losing out on business that you just don't even know about right now because of some of the reputation and some of the things you hear, which some of it is true, some of it isn't, whatever, right? But yeah, I totally, from where you came from, I guarantee you've seen a different way you're being received.
Correct. But then, like, once you're past that place, like, whether, maybe in certain neighborhoods, maybe if you're, kind of trying to dial in on Wayzata, 50th in France, maybe having a Compass or Coldwell Banker, maybe it carries a little more cachet and value in some of those very specific affluent markets, maybe, but like EXP is a great brokerage, right?
Well,
You'd be successful anywhere you went.
I think the choice matters. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. Some people act like it's like, Coldwell Banker, just for in this example, is the brand, and it's like, no, it's you. Like, you know what I mean?
You're your own CEO.
Yeah, like they're hiring you. They're not hiring you because of your brokerage. Like that's a part of it. And like you said, it could go both ways, negative or positive. So it's definitely like those of you out there who are not in real estate thinking about getting into it, do your research. Like brokerage does matter. I just firmly believe that it's slightly overrated the way that we all view it.
I would agree that it is overrated on the whole.
What about you? Convince me I'm wrong.
I mean, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of I was only at one other place beforehand.
I know. You guys have a very
different point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what Coldwell Banker has offered since I've been there is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I do. It's leaps and bounds has helped me grow my business.
Mm-hmm.
You're surrounded by just smart people. You're surrounded by great people that want to help you. So, I mean, that's a tough one for me to answer. I would say it's more underrated. I mean, I just didn't go over there and change my name. I went over there and they showed me different things that I never learned before. And I took advantage of those programs. I took advantage of the classes that they had. I took advantage of the graphic designer that you can work with, someone that's setting up your website. Those types of things, I think, were very underrated. But I think the thing is, okay, if I'm there long enough, then maybe you go somewhere else and you're like...
Yeah, I like the.
Question. It's a great question.
I like the answer from you guys, and I didn't really consider that before I answer it. But like, you guys definitely have a different. I could see your answers being different, just because of your initial experience. Like, I get that, so makes sense to me, and it definitely matters. Definitely.
I mean, I look at value. The amount of value I can get.
Right.
Is, I mean, I think our broker's phenomenal. Neil Simons, I think he's phenomenal. I call him Joseph. I think the sales coach there, Maggie's phenomenal. I think it's a great culture. I just think it's. I mean, I could be honest. I mean, I'm very happy there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think
good.
It's added a ton of value.
Yeah. Good. Well,
but you'd be successful largely anywhere you went. To
that's
your point,
kind of just. I would just guess, right? I just think, I don't know. I came from Edina Realty. They do a really, really good job there of not, I don't want to say making you think, but you know, their whole thing is like, hey, all the for sale signs look the same because that matters and they see us everywhere, so they're going to want to use you because of this powerful brand behind them or behind you and all that stuff. And like, again, I think there's something to that, especially starting out early on in your career when you have no past sales. So like, it's a complicated question. I think that's why I like to ask it, because it's different for everybody depending on where you came from and where you're at, right?
I look at what you guys, and specifically the teams that have transitioned over to EXP, and they're just some heavy hitters. I mean, it's your team's over there, Stockwell, Pemberton team is over there. DeRoche's, John Dahl.
Yeah.
I mean, these are, Kelly Brown team is XP. So, I mean, there is a lot. If you told me 3 or 4 years ago who XP was, I'm like, what is this? It felt like a discount. It sounded like a discount center at the time. But now that you start seeing the teams there, it's also the credibility, the brand name is increased significantly.
Yeah. No, I'd say 4 years ago is when I first heard about it. Right. You know, like we were considering Keller Williams 5 years ago.
If someone told you 4 years ago that you're going to be at EXP for a year and a half, you probably would have bet, no way.
Like, nah.
Happen. No. But no, I think that's actually very impressive, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do.
It's been fun. But yeah, and like, there's different levels to the brokerage question too. It's like, does a brokerage matter? Like, that's one question. Then it's like the value adds, like, do those matter for people? And I would say absolutely. And that's like the business model and all the things that go with that. So like, it's a complicated question. That's why I like to ask it.
I also don't think that a lot of brokerages would have allowed us to do what we wanted to do coming in.
Yeah.
And you know what extreme that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cleared our launch campaign with legal at Coldwell Bank.
Joseph's a badass. I'll say that right now. The guy that recruited you guys, if he signed off on that,
we went above Joe. We were at the RVP and corporate level.
Well, whoever was like, "Yup," like,
so that was a big
badass.
That was a big value add.
Yeah. By the way, Tyler, is this acoustic panel here you have? Is that from the Wood Veneer Hub?
It is.
Big fan.
Dude.
Almost
It's
just
great.
used one of those in my renovation that just went on the market.
It's funny because like it's the only one that I could really find, and then once I found it, they just inundate you with online ads. Like you cannot escape them. I still get ads like every day, but yeah, no,
It's a great product.
fantastic. I love
Yeah.
it. They're easy to hang. They were pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So that's our shout out to our sponsor, the Wood Veneer.
That's
Hub.
right, Wood Veneer Hub. Thanks for sponsoring Tyler Miller's podcast.
Sponsorship pending. But anyways, thanks guys. I know that you got lots of things to go do and you're crazy busy. So I appreciate you making time to do this. It's just fun for me to learn. And also anybody else who was listening, watching, I'm sure really appreciated it. So Damian and David from the Accelerated team, thank you for joining the Level Up podcast. And for anyone else who's out there still listening, first off, appreciate your support. If you're watching, again, thanks for tuning in. If you know anybody else that you feel be a good fit for the Level Up podcast, always looking for great agents to connect with. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Thanks for joining, guys, and I'll see you on the next Level Up podcast.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thanks.
See ya.